5, episode 4, I'm guessing. We just want to thank you viewers for the support. The first 3 episodes have been a great success. I'd like to keep asking you to share the footage. You're getting more and more viewers. The subscribers are increasing. Remember to subscribe and turn on your notifications for this channel. We're creating some good content here. Okay, without further ado, let me get into today's episode. Another 5 questions. Great questions, I have to say. They've been nice, but I still have to make a complaint. My team are now playing well, and what the hell, guys? Not even one question about Chelsea. Give me a platform and a chance to praise my team. Come on. To Chelsea week, this week. Okay, let's get into it. Despise is a very, very strong word, I have to say. I do not despise him, but of course those close to me know that I'm not his biggest fan. I feel like there's certain aspects of his career that have been overrated, but when he deserves respect, I give him the respect. When he deserves acknowledgement, I do acknowledge what he's done. I do acknowledge and respect his success. Especially when we look at this season, I did not expect Manchester City to be as good as they are, let me be honest, because this is a transition year. If I say this was, it seems as if I'm actually taking credit away from Pep Guardiola, because it is still a transition year, but they've been so good in their transition year, because this was a year whereby they were trying to replace a lot of the old guard. The spine, Vincent Kompany had not yet been replaced. Then they brought in Ruben Diaz. Fernandinho is also older. He doesn't start as many games as one they're trying to phase out at the moment. They've got Rodri playing. He's a lot better than last season, but he's still not really the answer for me. Then we look at their striking options. They are trying to phase out Aguero as well. It's part of the old guard. So you see what I'm talking about. Centre back, central midfielder, a striker. This is the spine of the team they're trying to replace this season. So this is a transition year. They still haven't found a striker yet. They're trying to replace Aguero. I think we spoke about the 3 targets that they're really looking at in last week's episode. If you haven't watched it, it's down there. You have a chance to an opportunity to watch it. So Pep has been very good, because this has been a transition year, like I've said. I didn't expect them to be as good. They've been so efficient. He's got guys stepping up for him like Gundogan, who's always been a great player, but is performing at a different level, a higher level this season. And you look at just how Phil Foden is in there trying to replace David Silva. As I've said, it's a year where they're replacing a lot of the important players in the team. Phil Foden has been exceptional, especially his record in big games. He's a big game player. That kid is 20 and he already looks comfortable. He looks like in the next 2 to 3 years he's going to be leading that team. That's how good Pep has been. He's been wonderful. I can't think of anything negative or bad to say about him this season. Maybe if I'm to look at a negative is Pep. The Premier League is very important. I do say that. But is Pep going to be judged on winning the Premier League? His third Premier League title in 4 years, that's an impressive record. But he wasn't brought to City just to win the Premier League. They still have a lot of work to win the Champions League. I think the Champions League win, however unlikely it looks to me, that's where he'll be judged upon by a lot of people who are going to be looking for something negative to say about Pep. If he doesn't win the Champions League, I don't think his naysayers are going to be satisfied by that. Arsenal, this is a big topic, because Arsenal is a very big club, and it's very sad to see that they are where they are at the moment. When I look at Arsenal, the problems, it could take a whole 3 episodes or 5 to just explain the problems. I'll try to summarize them. The owners were a problem, I have to say, in the past. Because there was a case where Arsenal wasn't owned by one person, and maybe 2 years previously to today, they weren't owned by one person, but they had a majority shareholder, which is Stan Kroenke and his family. They were the majority shareholders, but they still had some other people who had a lot of equity in the club. So Stan Kroenke's reasoning was, I cannot invest money into this club whilst the other shareholders aren't investing a percentage. So that's when people always complain that Kroenke doesn't put money into the club. That was his reasoning for not putting money into Arsenal Football Club. But now he's got 100%. And look at what he's tried. I'm not saying that he's the greatest owner in football, but he's certainly trying to do something now that he already owns Arsenal. We look at the deal for Thomas Partey when they made the deal deadline day at the beginning of this current season. Arsenal did not have the funds to make that purchase for Thomas Partey. That was personal money from Stan Kroenke's account that paid for that release clause for Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid to come to Arsenal. So he's now starting to invest some money, and you can even look at some of the signings like Gabriel. They're not mega rich signings, but you can see that Arsenal is spending a little bit. Even before this season, when they bought the Aubameyang deal, that was some £60 million. Great player Aubameyang is. Lacazette, £50 million. They were now allowing this team to spend a bit of money. So the owners, they are not perfect, but they're trying. The manager is still there's still some problems with Mikel Arteta. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to improve the squad. A lot of people give him the excuse that the players that he has are not the best players, but it's also down to experience. He's learning on the job. This is his first managerial job. Just imagine getting your first job and you're managing a club like Arsenal. You don't get you get a lot of attention, but not necessarily the space to make a lot of mistakes. Where if Mikel Arteta was manager for a club like Newcastle at the moment where they are, if he makes a bit of mistakes but it's showing that it's progressive, the fans will take that. When at Arsenal, when fans like my guys Pilangezwe, T-Mac, they want Arsenal to be in the top 4 every year. That's the expectation. When he makes a couple of mistakes, they're already saying Arteta out. But Arteta is a good manager at the moment for what the Kroenkes are trying to do. So that leaves me with the recruitment, the players that they have. Of course, there's a lot of negatives when you look at the Arsenal squad at the moment. My guy, William, love him. Former Chelsea player, of course. He hasn't been performing well, let's be honest. So they've got a lot of deadwood. William can be an example on huge wages. But we have to give them credit. In January, they freed up a lot of wages of the wage bill with the likes of Ozil, Mustafi, Socrates leaving. So it looks like they're trying to rectify that problem. So all the problems that I've given here, Arsenal are already in progress, trying to fix them. So let's give them a bit of time and see where they're taking this before I start calling people out and calling for people to get sacked and etc. I think Arsenal are in I can't say a good place, but they seem like they're trying to get there. Next question. Of course, the Euros are this year, and my team England, I don't know why I support England. I just love them so much, even though they always disappoint me. You have to choose 3 players from these 4. Who are you going to choose? Of course, yeah, I'm going to tell you who I'm choosing in this case, but I have to go through the Gareth Southgate route because, of course, he's the England manager. So, just trying to read Gareth's mind, I think you'd be choosing Mason Mount, Jack Grealish, and Phil Foden. James Maddison has picked him in a couple of squads, but hasn't really given him a fair chance. Looks like he doesn't fancy him. So these are the 3 that Gareth Southgate will be choosing. But as for me, Chelsea comes into this one again. I love Mason Mount, love him to bits. I'm looking at Jack Grealish this year. I remember there was a question where I was asked which player I enjoy watching most. This season it's just been Jack Grealish. He's been fantastic, dribbling, creating, scoring him some goals here and there. He's not the most prolific, never was, but you can see that he's improving. He has to have a spot in the squad for me. Phil Foden, just spoke about him a few a few minutes ago. The kid is going places. He's the next guy who should be leading that England team. He should be the next Stevie G in that team, the next guy you can hang your hopes on. I'm not trying to put a lot of pressure on the kid, but that's where it's building up to. Then James Maddison has been fantastic ever since he came back from injury for Leicester City. You can look at the current form, the way he's been assisting. Previously, I watched the Liverpool game when they beat Liverpool 3-1. He was absolutely fantastic in the last 10 minutes when they turned the game around. So these are the three that I'll be choosing. Mason Mount, I just think maybe he's not ready yet. Just leave him out, assuming that he spots, as the question says, is the one I'm leaving out. But with a heavy heart, because I know how brilliant the kid is, how he works hard, how I'm close to some of the people he speaks to. They speak highly of him as a leader. He's Chelsea's next captain. That's all I have to say about this one. First, I'd like to say I hate the way it goes. It makes absolutely no sense to me. It used to make sense, but not anymore. Because I realized that what they put it in for and what it was actually doing were two different things. The way it goes rule was supposed to make sure that the away teams, it was created in the 60s, 70s, there were these juggernaut teams like an AC Milan, a Real Madrid. So an away goal was an advantage for smaller teams, because then in the European Cup there were teams like Steaua Bucharest who were making the European Cup. I'm sure Steaua Bucharest won the European Cup back in the day. Yeah. So these teams, they wanted to encourage these small teams because they were so scared of these mega powers. When they play Milan and San Siro in the 60s, 70s, they would just put 11 men behind the ball to just try and make sure that they don't concede a goal to Milan, and maybe try and beat them at home where they've got fans, support, you know how it makes a difference playing at home and playing away. So that's what these smaller teams used to do. So the solution was to make the games more entertaining so that the away team wouldn't sit back when they go play these mega powers. They would try to get a goal because it was going to be of an advantage when they play these, if ever it comes down to a draw with these bigger teams. But as we evolved and football evolved, it became a different thing whereby now teams at home are very defensive when they're playing at home because they don't want to concede that away goal because they know it might hurt them. So let's say first leg is between Manchester United and Manchester City. The game at Old Trafford, Manchester United is going to defend so hard to make sure that they don't concede a goal to Manchester City. Then actually try and go and play on the counter with Manchester City and just try and get a goal, get that advantage. So it's actually working in the reverse now, whereby the home teams are not playing as expansive as they used to play in the 60s and 70s. Nowadays the home teams are so cautious because maybe you get your first leg at home versus a 2009 Barcelona, that super team. You defend for your lives to try and make sure you have a result to take to the camp where you might maybe get a goal on the counter and try to beat them. So whereby I never liked the rule because it ruins football, as I'm saying, even when the teams are playing at their respective homes. But worse off now, whereby teams are playing at neutral venues, it makes absolutely no sense. Because where is the home advantage that people used to talk about? This team is at home, so the way teams go is supposed to count more. Because this team is at home, it's got an advantage. Where is the advantage for Atleti when they're going to face Chelsea when they're playing at a neutral venue? Where is the advantage for a PSG if they're going to be playing at a neutral venue versus an English team, a Manchester City, for example? There's no advantage at home. So the away team scoring doesn't mean much more versus the home team scoring a goal. It should just be the same thing. If these teams draw, take it to extra time, take it to a penalty shootout, it's only fair. This is the way it goes. Rules. It's nonsense. It's bullshit. Okay, Now this is very subjective because people like different goals, like different performances. I'm sure this is only coming through after Kylian Mbappe's exploits versus Barcelona. Thank you, Kylian Mbappe, for supporting Barcelona. I hate that team so much. When I talk about Champions League hat-tricks, there's quite. I'm gonna try to choose one. I'll give you a couple examples. I remember in 2003 when Ronaldo just went and tore up Old Trafford. Ronaldo Nazario R9. When he got subbed off, I remember the United fans just clapping, applauding him. That performance, one of the most majestic performances. If you haven't had a chance to see, go and Google the highlights on YouTube. Then I remember there's one in 2013, Robert Lewandowski, when he was still at Dortmund. I'll even go one better. It wasn't a hat-trick. He scored 4 versus Real Madrid. That was one fantastic performance as well. Sublime. Then there's one by Thierry Henry in 2002 versus Roma. My gosh, the guy was superb. He's the best player to ever play in the Premier League. And we were lucky to be able to watch him live. That was one majestic performance of the hat-trick as well. Kylian Mbappe, I've already mentioned, is there. Then if I'm to choose one, I have to go for the, I can't call it breakthrough because they'd already made his breakthrough, but maybe the becoming of a man for Gareth Bale. Of course, they'd already lost that match because it went to halftime. Tottenham Hotspurs were 4-0 down, but that second half when he just tore Maicon to pieces, was just running through him. That hat-trick, it has to be the best for me. That's the best Champions League hat-trick I've watched live. Gareth Bale just making Maicon look like he'd never played football before. It looked like it was Maicon's first match. That's the best hat-trick I've ever watched in the Champions League, that Gareth Bale, because that's what created Bale into the figure that he was. I don't imagine he's still there, but he was back in the day. Made him that man who could run at you, just tear you to pieces, score so many goals. The becoming of a man of Gareth Bale, that's the best Champions League hat-trick performance I've ever watched. So thank you for watching 5. Please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you start supporting this club, the best club.